And this is different than what we tried last time. Last time there was one computer connected to the CNC machine. It was not networked. USB was locked out for students, so there was no way to get access to the information. You had to be sitting at the one machine. You couldn't bring in any files. Students couldn't because they couldn't use the USB port. So it was a non-workable solution. So we're hoping that this will be a better platform for that. So what are we going to try to teach them? What should they learn to do to be productive and get a good job in this? So the most basic thing is shapes. Being able to put shapes and cut them out on the metal. The next thing is text. Very basic, but being able to put text in and get it to cut out on the metal. And then the other big thing, drawing point, is images, photos, getting a photo or an image off the internet or drawing something artistic or whatever and wanting to cut that out on the metal. In addition, because we have the CAD class, they use SolidWorks. I believe they also use AutoCAD products as well as a bunch of others, but they're very well versed in doing intricate designs, entry-level work designs. So we need to be able to bring those drawing files into the software that they can then use to cut the metal with. So those are the basics. There's a lot more things to do, but we'd like to make sure we get those four things covered initially. The curriculum, which is going to be in Google Classroom, we expect to have video tutorials, checklists so they can follow along and make checks with instructor, stop points they have to check with an instructor before they can go more. Any of the drawing files that we need in order to do the projects will be in the classroom, as well as any references that we need for cutting speed depending on the thickness of the metal and the current and things like that. So the Google Classroom will be a repository for all needed materials to do that lesson without having to go on other computers or find other resources. All right, so this is FlashCut. This is the software that runs the plasma tables. There's three parts. You can see here, there's a CAD section, which is about putting a drawing in, putting shapes in, or text. And this is the way that it would go in a normal progress. After you have your drawing, the next step is the CAM, which it might be hard to see here, but all these little dashed lines, that's the tool path that the torch takes. Is it going to cut on the outside of the F or on the inside of the F? And what is the path that it takes to get all these done? So once you have a drawing, you need to do the tool path, and then we come down to the CNC part, which is setting it up and actually making sparks fly, actually doing the cut. So there's three steps: CAD, CAM, and CNC. And when you normally would work, you work in this direction. Our previous experience says that although this is how it happens in the real world, it's way, way, way too steep of a learning curve, especially for welding students that have not used CAD software, are not familiar with the commands, don't know how to save to files, don't know what a tool path is, and then they've never actually used software, a computer, to make a device like a torch move on its own. So way too much of a learning curve. Did not work. So no one wants to redo that mess. So what we think is going to work better is we're going to make sparks fly as soon as possible. Get the students' interest, show them what you can do to get them engaged, to learn more, So as soon as we can. So we're going to start with the CNC. We're going to start actually just bringing in a template, a sample file that they can't change, and they're going to just run it and make sparks fly. And then we're going to go up to just a CAD drawing, which then they have to do the tool path and then cut it out. And then we're going to go up to where they actually do the CAD drawing, then come down to do the cam part, the tool path, and then actually cut it out. So that's our plan, is to work backwards to make it easier for them to learn it. So this is what we're thinking. We're going to start with the CNC. We're going to have a plate of steel. It could be scrap steel. It needs to be a big 4x8 sheet. And what we're going to have them do is cut out a 4-inch square. And the CAD file and the CAM file is already going to be defined. They don't have to do anything. It's already going to, when they start it up, they're just going to load the templates. They don't have to do any CAD, no CAM. They're just going to be in there. They're going to follow the checklist and the video tutorial clips off the Chromebook. And hopefully within a matter of 15 minutes, there's going to be sparks, and they're going to cut out a 4-inch square piece out of the sheet or plate. Fast sparks ASAP. The current thought is they're going to use that same piece. They're going to use it in the next step, which you're going to learn how to do the tool paths. So they're going to load just the CAD file, learn very quickly through a checklist and a video tutorial clips on how to do the tool path, and they're going to cut a triangle out of their square stock, or their square piece. The next step would be to use that same square piece. We're going to keep reusing it, and now we're going to have them practice the CAD part, which is the steeper learning curve. Well, these are both pretty steep learning curves. So we're going to have them actually draw a circle in CAD, go through the whole process of making a tool path and then cutting it, just using the checklist and video clips. So now they should have their 4-inch square should have a triangle and a circle that they designed and cut out. Starting with that shape, they drew a shape. They were supposed to learn how to do a shape. They did a shape. Now we're going to learn about text. And text is kind of, when you cut this out, pieces fall out. You have to, there's special ways to do text so they can tell that it's a letter. It's just not, all the middle parts haven't fallen out. So using a checklist and video clips, they're going to be able to CAD up, create a tool path, and cut out an A. Then we're going to move on to an image. And images are not trivial. I mean, that's how the instructors always want to start. Well, we'll give them a piece of a 6-inch piece. They can download anything they want and cut it out. Well, that's just a cluster. It doesn't work. So what we're going to do is we're going to give them an image file, a very specific file. We know it works. It's going to be like a Clover or something. There's going to be a checklist and a video tutorial clips, and they're going to put it in CAD and go all the way through CAM, do the tool path, and then CNC and cut it out. Okay, so now we've gone back to the point, working backwards, of where the instructors always want to start, because it's neat. I guess that's kind of what you want to do. Kids want to print out, some symbol or something that means something to them, but there's a whole bunch of stuff that has to happen before that's a viable option. Otherwise, it just turns into a disaster for everyone. So now we're going to do another image, but this one, they can download whatever they want. There'll be a checklist of how to bring it in, video clip tutorials. It is not trivial to just grab an image off the internet and make it turn into image that will have a tool path that can go around it and actually cut it out, and actually like the pieces don't fall out the middle that still belong there. So that's like kind of advanced. It's going to take a bit to get there.